I think that being resilient is one of the biggest and best skills that you can possess on and off the playing field. And that's why in this episode, we're going to teach you how to build it. Here we go. I am the personal trainer for your mind.
Steps out, hit
So athletes don't come to me and say, hey Corey, how do I become more resilient? What they do is come to me and say, hey, how do I get out of this slump I'm in? Or how do I overcome an injury that I'm going through? And I always tell my athletes it is super important to be resilient and to learn those skills. There's always something that seems to arise, and if you're not resilient, you're gonna fall apart like a cheap tent. And that's the last thing we need. Here's the problem. Somewhere along the line, psychologists and educators thought it was the best thing to tell everybody that they were special and that they're going to be superstars. And parents pump their kids up all the time with how great they are. Every single accomplishment is celebrated with a parade as this overachievement. What we tend to do is be helicopter parents and swoop in and try to save the day. But we need to let our kids struggle. We need to let them fail. That's okay if they fail, because you only learn when you fail. They need to pick themselves up and brush themselves off and get back on the right track to success. So I can speak to this personally myself. Throughout my hockey career, I was always faced with adversity. There's so many highs and lows. And one sticks out in my mind. I remember being just finishing my second year or sophomore year of college. I was 1 point behind the leading goal scorer on the team. I had 27 points that year. Great year, second in team points. And on top of the world. Went home, trained, worked out hard, put on 10 pounds over the summer of muscle, came back in September ready to go, and my coach looked at me and said, we've got new recruits that are faster, that are younger, and we just don't know where you fit in the lineup. So I was like, mind blown, like, are you kidding me? I go from being second on the team in points to now I'm not even in the roster. And that was something that really crushed my spirits at the time, and I get how you feel in that situation. But the decision that I had back then is the same decision you have now. You need to choose it as a motivator. Get charged. See what I did there? Get pumped, man. Do what you're supposed to do to get back up on your feet. And that's what I did. I went into the coach's office, had a good meeting with him, we chatted. I said, what do I need to do in order to be a player that you can see on your roster? And we talked and we ironed some things out, and I played and had a great season. So what's the solution here? How do we build resiliency? There's a few ways you can do it. Number one, you have to be aware of your train of thought. Looking inward and being aware of all of your thoughts and how they affect your feelings is the number one thing you should tune into. It's called self-reflection. Look in the mirror. How am I feeling? What are my triggers? What makes me feel like this? And be aware of that so you can learn how to tweak and think, oh wow, that makes sense. I didn't realize I was doing that. And number two, we need to learn how to change our mindset. And there's two examples that we've received, and we get them a lot from kids. You know, how do I look at a slump positively? How do I look at being injured positively? So here we go. Injuries are awful, and nobody wants to be injured. You need to be resilient. You need to look at it in a positive light. Injuries stink, but yes, maybe it's the universe's way of saying, hey, you're moving too quickly, you're doing too much. Maybe you need to spend some more time, some more quality time with your friends or your family. Maybe, just maybe, you look at this situation and say to yourself, I'm going to spend the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks, a month, 3 months, whatever it is, and really focus on getting healthy, getting strong, so that when you come back, you're stronger and more rested than everybody else on your team. Right? So slumps are another thing that kids always say to me, how do I look at being in a slump as a positive thing? Well, I'm like, what's the alternative? You look at it as negative, you stay in the slump. So you choose to look at your slump as maybe it is a challenge. You know, I haven't scored in 10 games. Well, challenge yourself to score the next game you're there. Maybe it's an opportunity for you to start building confidence, or maybe you want to start setting goals and attaining those small goals, build some momentum, which will lead to confidence and that success. So there's always two ways of looking at something, and I always tend to choose the motivating way, and you need to as well. So that's a little food for thought for you today, because you know, life throws you curveballs all the time, on and off the playing field, and the more positive you are, the more resilient you're going to be. Well, that does it for this episode. Please keep firing me questions. You need solutions. I'm the man for it. I got you.